Yeah, we are laying up to stuff. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Backdraft, and welcome to another episode on the Create With Backdraft SMP. This is episode number 7. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you love the Create mod, redstone engineering, and Minecraft automation, then this is the channel and the series for you. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications so you never miss another episode. So I don't know who did it exactly, but somebody thought it would be cool to give me a little friend dangling above my storage system and just pooping out all kinds of eggs. I don't know who did this, but I have an idea. Scotty. This actually needs to be a chute. And then another chute right there, and egg farm. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Scotty the egg farm. Anyway, this is a very special episode because I have two mega projects planned for this episode. The first is a super awesome and super crazy create mod contraption, and the second is we're finally going to build our buddy Wargamer's base that he paid us so handsomely to do for him. We're going to be doing the create mod contraption first because we needed to collect up some resources that we're going to need to build the base. But before we Scotty just produced an egg. The farm works. Anyway, there's a few things we have to do to set up for the create mod contraption. We're going to be building it using the schematic cannon. There are a ton of resources that we're going to need, but there's one little thing I want to do to my wood farm first because the contraption actually uses a flywheel, which is something we haven't used yet on this server, so we got to set up to be able to use that. Over here at the spawn house, there's actually an example of a flywheel right here. This one is actually hacked by our server admin, Mr. Draconex, shout out to him, so that it will continuously spin and doesn't require fuel. But essentially, you have a furnace. You need to put fuel into the furnace and a combustible item, and so long as the furnace is smelting, the flywheel will continue to spin. And this thing produces over 16,000 stress units. But ladies and gentlemen, that actually isn't enough to power our contraption. It is that crazy. So the idea with the flywheel is that you can keep it constantly going if you can feed it a supply of wood, which we're going to do from our wood farm. So you feed in the wood gets smelted down into charcoal, and then you feed that charcoal back into the flywheel furnace so that it can continuously keep smelting forever. But first things first, we have to turn our wood farm back on and make a couple modifications to the storage. So here is our wood farm as it currently stands. I have it off. So what we need to do in order to prepare this for the flywheel is I need to break the ender chest. And the reason we're going to do this is because what we're going to do is all of the items that come out of the farm, we're going to change it so it only produces birch wood. So the byproducts of the farm are going to be birch logs, sticks, and birch saplings. So I have this 2x2 drawer that I made. So as you can see, it has 4 slots, enough to store each of those 3 items. And I have 2 very special storage upgrades here. One is just a regular old storage upgrade that improves the total number of items that can be inside of it. And the second one is actually called a void upgrade, which is crafted with a drawer upgrade template and 8 obsidian. So what this upgrade does is any excess items that get put into the drawer after the drawer is completely filled up will just get voided or destroyed. So we don't have to worry about overflow from this farm anymore. So the next thing that we're going to do is I need to get a different colored ender chest, and we're going to feed just the birch logs out of the drawer here. So I have a filter here for just birch logs. We're going to filter those out and dump them into a special ender chest that is going to be used just for flywheels. I'll put a different color on that one and put it underneath. That way, any other flywheels that we want to use in the world can be fed by this wood farm, and it will be fantastic. We won't ever have to worry about wood ever again. If we need wood for anything, any contraption actually, we can just use that ender chest. And if it does end up where this farm doesn't produce enough wood to supply all of the places where we're using it, then we can always just expand it out or build a second farm and feed that farm's wood into an ender chest of the same color. It is really, really awesome. So we got the farm turned back on and configured for birch wood. We've got everything in place, and I decided to make a brown ender chest. This is what we're going to use to pass the wood along. So all I gotta do is plop that down here, and then that's all she wrote. Then everywhere that we use this brown ender chest, the birch wood will be filled up inside of it. So now that we have the wood farm ready to go, it is now time to collect up all the materials for the contraption. So I think it's time to tell you guys what exactly we are building. We are building an absolutely mega concrete farm. I call it the Concrete Copter. So I have the schematic. You can't see it right now. I don't want to spoil anything. Placed right here above the area, and the idea is it's kind of, it sort of looks like a copter, but it also fits in with kind of the area that we're building and the lore, and kind of like, it almost looks like a flying machine sort of thing rather than a helicopter. So it definitely fits in with the like medieval theme that we're going with. You guys will see it when it's done. It looks super, super awesome. But I wanted to show you the materials checklist for this because it is absolutely crazy. The biggest things that we're going to need: 32 brass funnels, 15 brass tunnels, 30 crushing wheels. There are a lot of crushing wheels in this contraption because we're trying to keep it self-sustaining in producing sand and gravel for the concrete. So the idea would be that you just dump in your dye and the machine will do the rest. 30 crushing wheels, like I said. We need a flywheel and a furnace engine. That's a little expensive, requires some brass. A mechanical arm. The first time we're actually going to be using a mechanical arm in any of the contraptions. 5 mechanical mixers, 10 mechanical drills. There is a giant windmill that also helps power the whole thing alongside of the flywheel, because the flywheel, even though it is the most efficient power source in the entirety of the Create mod, it is not enough to power this mega contraption. But anyway, ladies and gents, we have a lot of resource collection to do, so let's get to it. Resources have been collected up. I have the schematic cannon set up behind me. So the copter, like I said, is going to be built above the base area in the sky right here. And I didn't know quite where the schematic cannon had to be, if there was like a range for it or whatnot. So I built it up here in the sky just to make sure it was close enough. I think it goes a little faster if it's closer to the schematic anyway. So all we have to do at this point, we got the gunpowder loaded up and the schematic ready to go. All we have to do is put these chests right next to the schematic cannon, and it is going to start building this bad boy. So I'm actually going to record this in the form of a third-person time lapse, so you guys will get to watch this bad boy shoot all of the items into place. It should be super, super epic. So I hope you guys enjoy this time lapse, and let's roll that music. And the Concrete Copter is alive. I hope you guys enjoyed that short time lapse. It only took the schematic cannon about 10 minutes to build this thing, believe it or not. But there's still a couple more things we have to do. We actually have to put in the lava and the water for the generators because the schematic cannon can't do that. And we have to get the flywheel going. And to do that, like I showed you guys before, we have our ender chest full of wood. That's going to get the flywheel going pretty good. We're going to have to put in a couple pieces of charcoal manually to get this thing going, but once we do that, we should be good to go. Now, before we actually turn this bad boy on and we put in the lava and the water, I want to take a little bit of a segue because I have a pretty unique way that we can get lava that's actually going to take us into a bunch of other farms in a future episode. So let me show you what we got. Okay, so here's the quick segue. I've popped over to the nether and I've set up this little contraption over here. So what we've got is we've got a hose pulley, which is this thing right here. And the hose pulley is letting a hose down into the lava beneath. And then we have a pump pumping the lava from the hose pulley into our ender tank here. And the whole thing is being powered by this windmill. So I just got the achievement called Draining the Planet's Core, which says pump from a body of lava large enough to be considered infinite. So in the Create mod, if you use a hose pulley on either a giant body of water or lava that has 10,000 source blocks or more, it is considered an infinite source of that liquid. So now essentially what we have is we have infinite lava so long as we're carrying around these ender fluid storage tanks. And now there's a ghast, and we probably should get out of the nether before we die. We now have infinite lava. It's amazing. We can do andesite, we can do granite, we can do diorite, we can do all kinds of amazing farms with this lava. Let's get out of here. The lava and the water is now in place. We've turned on the flywheel by putting the wood ender chest above it that is being fed from our wood farm way down there. And the last thing we have to do to turn this bad boy on is activate the windmill. So now we are generating cobblestone on both sides. Let me try to explain exactly what we're doing here. Try and bear with me, it is a little complicated. So in the middle, we have 5 mixers with basins underneath. On this side, we have 5 drills. Sorry if this is a bit loud. 5 drills generating cobblestone being fed down into these 5 crushing wheels that are crushing it down into gravel. And then all of that gravel is being fed into this this drawer right here that I accidentally just picked up. And then the gravel is being fed evenly distributed into each of the basins in the middle. And on this side, we actually have 2 crushing wheels per drill. And the responsibility of these is to crush it down into sand. And the sand is being evenly distributed into the basins on the other side. So you can see there's now sand and gravel in the middle. So whatever concrete we want to make, we just dump our dye into this chest right here. And then it goes to town. This thing is going to crank out so much concrete for us. I'm actually going to let it go for a little bit and fill up with some gravel and sand. And I almost forgot I have to do the drawer upgrades for each of these. I want to use the void upgrade and just give it an emerald upgrade so that we can make sure we have plenty of stock in here for when we want to make concrete. But anyway, that is the Concrete Copter. We will be using this later in the episode to collect up some concrete for War Gamers base when we get to that point. Alrighty, so we're over at the gold farm now, and I've actually repurposed it temporarily so that we can produce granite from this. So the granite recipe is 2 flint, red sand, and 100 millibuckets of lava, or 1/10 of a bucket of lava. So using our ender storage tank right here, and we've set up the infinite lava generation in the nether. I actually don't know if I'm gonna have to put a chunk loader in the nether. I might. That wouldn't be that big of a deal. It doesn't look like it's filling back up, so that's probably what we're gonna have to do. But essentially, we're feeding in the flint from the washing of the sand. And instead of just trashing it, we're feeding that into the basin down here to get the flint for the granite. Then, of course, we're getting the red sand from crushing down that terracotta that's being created from the clay that's being created from washing the sand. And then, of course, the lava is being pumped in from our ender fluid tank. So I did need some granite for the build that we're going to be doing for Wargamers, so that's why I repurposed this for now. Now, on top of that, this is the materials list for Wargamers base. As you can see, there are 13 pages of materials that we need. one of which is acacia. So we're going to have to go find some acacia trees and saplings in order to get that. We also are going to have to get a ton of other stuff. I need more andesite to finish this up, so we're going to have to go get that. And there's a ton of other stuff that I'm going to have to craft to build his base. So we have a lot more resource collection to do to get the second mega project going for this episode. So let's get into that. Okay, so we're in the middle of resource collection, and I think it's about time that I show you the Concrete Copter in action. I have to make some gray concrete and green concrete for the base build. So the first thing I'm going to do is the gray concrete. I have all the dye that we need, so I'm going to climb up to the top over here. I'm going to go to the dye chest, and I'm going to dump in the dye. Then I'll come back down. You can already hear the mixers are going berserk, and if we drop back down here, I made this little platform we can just chill on. You can see all of the concrete getting washed, and once it is washed and becomes solid concrete, it will end up in this chest right here. And there we have it. That is all the concrete that we are going to need for the build, all of the gray concrete that is. So we're gonna have to do the green concrete next, but you guys get the picture at this point. You can see how quickly it cranked out 2 stacks and then a little bit of gray concrete. This thing is crazy. Another update on resource collection. I actually found this underwater, oh gosh, there's a drown spawner down here. I found this underwater, it's kind of like an abandoned mine shaft underwater themed like an ocean monument, because I need some sea lanterns for the build as well. I was trying to find an ocean monument, but I did find this. We got 11 sea lanterns so far. I knew this is probably going to be one of the toughest materials we needed. We're going to have to fend off all these drowns too. Actually, we could probably steal that drown spawner. I don't know. Do they drop copper in this mod pack? Let's see. Doesn't look like they do, actually. This is 116 after all. But anyway, I'm going to keep cranking out the resource collection. Hopefully we can find all these sea lanterns, and then we're almost done. Resource collection is now complete, and that took way longer than I care to admit. We had to do a ton of exploration. We had to find a swamp, a jungle, spruce trees. We had to go into the nether to get some shroom lights and nether wood, all kinds of stuff that we had to collect up for this build. So here is all the materials in these 2 chests right here, hooked up to the schematic cannon. The schematic has been placed down, so now all we got to do is turn this bad boy on and watch it go. So we're gonna finish this up with a continuation of our time lapse for the episode. So I hope you guys enjoy. This one's probably gonna take a lot longer because it is much bigger and has much more materials. So let's get it going. Roll that music. Hope you guys enjoyed the time lapse. Here is the finished product. So the inspiration for this are my buddy Wargamer, who plays on this server. His 2 favorite games are BioShock and Halo Reach. So the whole idea with this build is that we have a base inspired by the Halo Reach map, Tempest. It doesn't look exactly like what's on the map, but I always like it when it doesn't turn out exactly, because then it's its own unique build. So we got his base right there. We have a scorpion tank out front protecting the base, and the base is currently being assaulted by a giant Big Daddy from BioShock. So here is the Big Daddy. I didn't actually design either of these. I'm not really good at organic building like this. But the Big Daddy is from a Reddit post that I'll link down in the description. I built it based on the image, just tried to mimic it as best as I could. I think it turned out awesome. And then the Scorpion Tank, I believe, is from Planet Minecraft. Sorry if I'm wrong, I'll be putting the link in the description for that as well. So we got the Scorpion Tank fighting off the Big Daddy, protecting the temple. The Tempest Temple has plenty of room inside for Wargamer to put whatever he wants. I kind of picture if this was my base, I'd put like a storage system up here on this area. Then down below inside of the base, this turned out really cool. I thought it looked really futuristic and kind of fit in with the Halo kind of color schemes that they have in some of the buildings. So he has a lot of space down here to put whatever he wants. Then up in the actual tower, there are a few platforms with more space as well. We got this little spot right here. Then going up, we have another platform, and finally the final platform. This is a really good view up here. You can kind of look up and see into the rest of the tower. Wargamer, I hope you enjoy your new base. Pleasure doing business with you. I still planned on doing a bit of terraforming around here to make it look a little bit more beaten up, like it was kind of a war zone, but that's probably on the agenda for a future episode. That is all the time I have for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to, please do not hesitate to hit that thumbs up. And if you're looking forward to future episodes on the Create with Backdraft SMP, then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications, and make sure to check out my Create Above and Beyond series that I'm doing in tandem with this one as well. We are doing some super awesome things on that world. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Take care and bye-bye.
Yeah, we are in the place to be. Yeah, yeah, yeah.